What's going on, guys? Welcome to Pam Unfiltered, the spot where we spill the hottest celeb tea, break down and review all the reality TV chaos, get real about the latest trending news, and of course, so much more. So let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on Pam Unfiltered. This is episode 5 of season 10 of Love is Blind. We pick up where the last episode ended, and that is Kevin in a pause by himself. Anybody there? Hello. Nobody's there. So he is shocked at the fact that Tyler is not on the other ends of their pods. So then he leaves and he goes into the quarters with the men and he's like, yo, she's not there. I'm like, how many times she gonna tell you? If you're not gonna make the decision, she's not gonna be there. Why you continue to play with these women? You're a good guy and everything, but you ain't that much of a prize. Remember, you drove a beat up old cruise, like you said. So it's just like, and you know that these women are career-wise ahead of you. So it's just like, they want you because they want you, but they don't need you. Stop playing games with them. And this is what happened when you decide to be indecisive. Right? So then it cuts to Tyler letting the girls know, she's like, I'm out, I'm leaving. He has not made his choice. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to continue to allow this man to play with me. So then it cuts to her in her confessionals and she says, pretty much that she wants to be married and she wants to be loved and she wants to be chosen. She says, Kevin is not my husband, but he is a part of my journey on to finding my husband. So now we get Devontae and Brittany meeting. Brittany is super excited. Remember, she bought her dress and she wants to make sure she uses this dress. Ooh, she is in love. He is excited to meet her. He always, every time he talks about her, and this is before, even after it, every time he talks about Brittany, he always refers to like kids. He's like, oh yeah, me and Brittany talks, and he said when a reunion comes, she's gonna be pregnant. Like, whatever, Devontae. So then the doors open, excuse me. So when the doors open, they both got the shock of their life. Baby, Brittany thought she was getting a tall chocolate man. And Devontae thought he was getting a white blonde woman. They both was like, hi. She's like, oh, you're shorter. She's like, he's shorter than what she thought he would be. But I'm like, I don't think Devontae is short. Like, I don't know where she got that from. But then she makes a comment, like in her side interview, like, we all get fat when we get older. And I was just like, really, Brittany? And then it cuts to him and he's like, oh. He's like, I've never dated a woman of color before. And I'm like,
are you telling me that you are not?
Yeah, I'm not a woman.
White? Oh, the deception. The betrayal, man. You deceived me.
Calm down. I'm an FBI agent. I was uncovering a...
Negro, please. Didn't somebody tell you this was an all-white party? Huh? Someone get this jigaboo.
I hate when people, specifically white people, because this man thinks he's white, when they try to be politically correct and it just sounds off. First of all, you are considered a person of color. Why? Because both of your parents are not white. Your father is black, probably a light-skinned black, but nevertheless, a black person. Because you came from his bowls, you're black too. You're considered a person of color. You know what's so funny? I was looking at some Facebook comments about him, and literally all the white people was like, well, isn't he black? I don't understand. Isn't he a person of color? And I'm like, exactly. You may consider yourself white because you were raised by your white mother and your white grandparents. But at the end of the day, you are not considered white to a lot of white people. You're considered either mixed or black. And I need you to come to terms with that. You get what I'm saying? It's okay that you have preference to white women because that's who you were raised by. But it's just like the way he said, like, oh, she's a person of color. Like, Devontae, please. So of course he, asks her to marry him. This dude was sweating like no tomorrow. I'm like, isn't this place air conditioned? Why are you sweating like that? I think he was sweating. He's like, oh shit, this girl's she black. She's black. Oh my god, she's brown. What am I gonna do? I like my girls vanilla. So again, he proposes to her. She says yes. They kiss. They sit down and talk. And that's the end of it. Because again, some of these conversations I just don't care about, right? So now we get Mike and Emma in the pods. And when she gets into the pods, it's like this beautiful bouquet of roses. And I'm like, oh my God, I love roses. They're my favorite. And then, she talks to him. She's like, listen, like, I really, really like appreciate you. And, when I talk to you, and I guess when they experience their connection, she says, I never had to change who I am when it comes to you. And, he gets really, really emotional. And he says to her, like, I really open up to you. And that's not something that he's used to because he grew up with tough love, AKA, you're a man. You don't show emotions. That's what I'm getting from that, But he said he's never been as open as he is with her ever in his past. So then he proposes to Emma. Emma says yes. And now they are engaged. They go into the quarters, or she goes into the quarters. They celebrate. And that's the end of that. God, here we go with Kevin again. So we back to Kevin. Okay. Kevin is in the quarters talking to the men. And he's still explaining, like, yo, like she left. I told her I wanted to be with her, even though he flip-flopped. And then you got Vic over there talking about, oh, she don't deserve you. And I'm just sitting here like, Vic, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Do you think it's okay for him to be indecisive all the way to day 10, despite what he said to her? Because even though he said that to her, he was still talking to Kia. Excuse me. How would you feel if it was Christine and it was you and another dude, and she was indecisive all the way to the last day, and she's telling you she wants to be with you, but she still got this dude hanging on? You'd be upset. Like, how dare you? Like, be quiet. And he looks like my ex too. Shut up. Be quiet. So then, he was like, oh, Kia is still here. They're like, oh, Kia's here. Like, maybe you want to try that out. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. She's an amazing woman. But they was like, yo, be honest with her though. Like, don't lie about what happened with Tyler. Like, be completely honest. So then he goes into the pods with her, you know what I mean? And he says, she's one of his, what he said? She's one of his hearts and always has been loving and caring to him. And then he says, hold on, because I don't remember the true conversation. And he says he had an idea of what he wanted in a wife and that he could see that with Kia. And Kia is just elated and she's just happy. But I'm like, didn't you say you wanted to be with Tyler? So after he bigs up, this is what he likes to do. He likes to big up to let down. And you know what? Kia took a cue on that. So but right before she does that, she talks to him. He says he's honest with her. And he says that he chose Tyler. However, he says that he made a rash decision in choosing Tyler and rushing on his decision. And I'm just like, again, this dude is like, I don't know. I don't like a man like that. Like, you just way too weak for me. You just need to make the decision, and it's always going to be someone to have her feelings, right? But so he's pretty much saying like he was pressured to pick Tyler, but then he realized he needed to pick Kia, right? So she stops him in his tracks. She's like, you know what, Kevin, throughout this experiment, we've talked a lot about your feelings. And she's like, it's time for us to talk about mine. I'm like, Mike, mother, drop less mother effing go. Right? So she says, like, she came into this experiment to be vulnerable, right? And to possibly find love. And she says, Kevin, you're very empathetic. You are heartfelt. You are self-aware, but I'm not in love with you. And I don't think you are ready for a relationship like this. And I don't think you are my husband. And then she goes in and she says, and you know what else? Tyler deserved better as well. Mic drop. Boom. And then her last words before she leaves, she said, make sure you check that watch. Make sure you check that watch and stay focused. And then that was the end of it. She goes into the quarters. The girls go, what's going on? She said, I choose me. They all scream. The guys hear it. He come in. They're like, oh, you gay? She's like, nah, that's not good. That's not a good shit. They're like, oh, and I'm like, oh, well, this is what happens when you scare to hurt someone's feelings and not be honest with the girls that you're with. Too bad you started with 2 and now you got none. That's your fault. So now we get Emma and Mike meeting up for the first time. And Emma says, like, I guess meeting him, there was a lot of weight lifted off of her shoulders. She just really feels like she found her one because he never judged her on her past. And I'm like, what person in their right mind is going to judge someone about the past that you have? You act like you was like ex-trafficked. You was a husta. You know what I'm saying? You was passed around. You were a child that was adopted into a family. You had some medical issues. They were fixed. And you led a good life. Like, what are you talking about, Emma? You act like you had the worst experience in life, and it's really crazy. Like, you just have some self-identity issues. And at your age, your big age in 2025, I'm assuming this was filmed 2025 or 2024, okay? You can figure out who she is. Low key, I don't think Emma is full Chinese. I think Emma might be Korean a little bit too, because I can see it in her eyes. She look more Korean in her eyes. But she just need to go do her DNA test and call it a in day. Like, she just be doing too much. So, the doors open. They see each other. She thinks he's handsome. He sees her. They kiss. He proposes. I think she was nervous about, as usual, she's nervous that if he'll like her or not because of her race. I'm like, oh my God, this is just ridiculous. Like, Emma, you are a beautiful woman. Please live in it. Just stop. Just live in it. Accept it. If he don't want you, move on to the next. It's not that serious. You're not an ugly duckling. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. Live in it. So then we cut to him. He's like, oh, I never dated outside my race before. And I'm like, first of all, Mike, you don't even look white to me. You have like very few times you'll see an actual white person with white skin. Normally, you'll see someone who's of Latin descent or someone who is black and something else with that white skin, like literally white skin. So I'm very curious to know what his background is, because to me, he does not give me white at all. So they meet again. He proposes, says yes, they kiss, and then that's just the end of that. Everybody has seen each other. All engaged couples have seen each other. Now it's time to go to Mexico. But not all couples go to Mexico. 6 couples go to Mexico and 1 couple goes to Malibu. Vic and Christine go to Malibu. And everybody was like, well, how come they didn't go to Mexico? And then Netflix and Love is Blind come out and say there's budget reasons. What were the budget reasons? Like, why is the budget the reason? They didn't have enough money. This is your 10th season. The way y'all had all that food sitting up in there, that was probably wasteful. You're telling me that you just need to have 2 more tickets to send them to Mexico? And I when they got to the villa area, the hotel or whatever it is, I don't know if you guys noticed, every time they showed them outside, there's nobody around. There's no other guests. You barely see any employees. Like, there's nobody around. So I don't understand why you didn't have the budget. And then what I also noticed too, and throughout this vacation part, I noticed that Vic and Christine don't have a cameraman with them. They're literally using their cell phones. Oh, hey, we're here. We're going on to dinner. Da, 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 da. So just say what it is. You didn't have the cameraman, which is asinine. You just got your one extra cameraman. That was way out of your budget. Please. So everybody is in, again, 6 of the couples are in Mexico. And then we first get Devontae and Brittany. Oh God, the race cultural thing comes up. And he's like, oh, I thought you were, she's like, oh, you thought I was white because of the way I speak. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, this man has, and then it cuts to him actually, and pretty much he says it in so many words that he prejudges women of color. That he's judged women of color. So when he got to know Brittany, he thought she was white just because of the way she spoke. So probably he assumed that we all talk, yeah, nigga, this and pop, 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 shorty, oh. And I'm just sitting here like, the views that he has of black women and black people in general is just asinine, and I blame it all on his father. And the fact that he has a negative thought of black women, which most people do, is crazy, especially when it comes to the way we speak, because black women are the most educated in this country. So we all can be shiny ones and ghetto bitches and all of that. Like, this man really needs, like, a wake-up call, right? But she goes and she tells him, she's like, well, my father's black, my mother's Colombian, my mother was adopted to a white couple, you know what I mean? But, like, this is who I am. Like, what we gonna do about that? So then it cuts to Chris and Jessica. Y'all already know I don't care about Chris and Jessica. I think they are just a snooze fest. And they're in their room, and he's like, oh, I think she's literally perfect. And then they go out and they're on a balcony, and she's like, she's really enjoyed this time where I guess the phones and the outside world hasn't really bombarded her. And she says, like, I have really heavy political views. I heard that she's like a real leftist. Like, she's like a Democratic, a leftist, or whatever. So she says, like, a lot of her social media is heavy on politics, and it's nice not to see that. And he's like understanding. And I'm wondering, like, did they not have this conversation in the pods of political views? Because in this point in time, it is very important to have that conversation, because there's people who are, there's very different people, right? You have your Democrats, you have your leftists, you have your Republicans, and then you have your MAGA righties, right? And it's very important to discuss about that. But then you also have people like me, where I'm independent, right? I'm not a Democrat, nor am I a Republican. Don't get it twisted, I'm not MAGA. Okay? So they talk about that, and then that's pretty much the end of their little conversation. But the rest of the episode is just them in their hotel rooms, preparing for the night, and they're just talking. I'm talking, so I'm gonna quickly go through it because honestly, it was boring. So then, before I get into the couples that are in Mexico, we do get Christine and Vic. They just came out of the sauna. They said they're gonna get something to eat and just hang out for the rest of the night, which I am here for it. Before I do talk about the other couples, I just want to say this about Vic and Christine, that at first I was a little upset about them not being in Mexico. But then as the episodes went on, I was just like, you know what? I would have rather been in Malibu. Why? Because they don't have cameras around them. They just have their phone. So they're literally experiencing a vacation by themselves as a normal couple. And because they're getting that experience right away, I think it can provide them with longevity, or I hope it can provide them with longevity. Because again, the cameras are not in their face. They're just enjoying each other's time without just by themselves. So I appreciate that in that aspect. And I don't know, I'm going to give Netflix the benefit of the doubt and say they know that they're going to be long lasting, and say let them go to Malibu and do it that way, while these hot messes of a couple over here, we'll put them in Mexico. I'm going to give y'all the benefit of the doubt. You, Chris Colleen and Netflix, I'm going to give y'all the benefit of the doubt. So, we get, again, Devontae and Brittany. I'm so sick of this couple. I really am. And he keeps talking about looks, and he has the nerve to talk about looks the way he look, okay, and the way she look. She is gorgeous. Body T. You, on the other hand, I don't know about that. But, he's just like, again, he never, he's never dated a woman of color, blah, blah, blah. But he, he's emotionally connected to her because of the pods, and he's going to try giving it a chance. Whatever. So then we get Amber and Jordan. I love this scene. Amber is so immersed in Jordan. It's just, she like melts in him. It's just so cute to see. She's just like in him, hugging him. And he was just like, I could see you as a redhead. And y'all, I seen her as a redhead. And her going blonde was a big mistake. She needs to go back to that red hair because her face looks so different. She's really, really pretty with her red hair. And her daughter has red hair as well. Because I seen her Instagram. Girl, please get rid of the blonde. The red hair is you. But they're cuddling and they're hugging and things like that. And then they kind of prepare for bed. Then we get Alex and Ashley, and you can tell these two have nothing in common, but they are just sexually connected. Even though they haven't had sex, they just have really good sexual chemistry. He's talking about scars and tattoos on his leg. I'm like, oh my God, who cares? And then he goes into books, and I'm like, oh my God, all they talking about is books. Like, is this a filler before they start having sex? And then we get hold on, let me make sure I'm making sure I got everything. So then we get that's the end of their scene. So then we get Connor and Brianna. Connor is kind of on the bed. Yeah, Connor is on the bed and he's trying to like cross his legs, but for some reason he can't sit with his legs crossed. And Brianna can't fathom that. I'm like, he just can't cross his legs. What's the big deal? So she's like, oh my God, how do you sit on the bed? And he's like this. And so then she sits in between his legs. They kind of joke, but she's kind of like making fun of him and he peeps it. And he's just like, don't make fun of me. And she's like, oh, I'm not. And I'm like, oop, I could see her getting on his nerves because she likes to joke. And sometimes that just becomes too much. So then after that, we cut to Emma and Mike. Emma and Mike are kind of laying in the bed and they're saying how like, I'm physically comfortable with you, and Emma starts to chuckle and they just say they find themselves physically attractive. Now we come back to Alex and Ashley, Lord Jesus. I'm like, well, they just fuck already. So then they're in the bed, but then it also cuts to Ashley kind of like in the bathroom area. And she says, men, like, she's just like, she's sexually ready. And she said that men find women are attractive who are sexually, what's the word that she used? She used, women who are sexually confident. Men find that attractive, but she says that she don't give her coochie up to everybody. I'm like, okay, girl, I don't believe that, but all right, do you? So then we get Amber and Jordan, Big Daddy, in the bed, and they're getting ready for bed. And then he turns around and he's like, "So, do you like this look?" And Baby came out with the CPAP machine in his nose, and I was just like, "Oh, Jordan. That was just not sexy. I know you need it for sleep, baby, because I have a few family members who use it, but that was not sexy at all. That was not sexy." So then they go to bed, and then we get Devontae and Brittany again, and they're talking right before they go to bed, and she's just like, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to have any sex or whatever, because I think she's still like kind of like celibate and she doesn't want to give it up until she's married, and he's understandable, and they go to bed like nobody cares. And then Chris and Jessica in the bed, and she's like, I hope I'm with Chris forever next. And then after that, we get our last couple before they go to bed, and it's Brie and Connor, and they're cuddling, and then she says, like, I cannot wait to start the rest of my life with you. And the episode ends. Thank you, Jesus. What are your thoughts on this particular episode? Devontae, you going to get on my goddamn nerves because you keep bringing up this woman's race, even though you are the same race as her. I'm tired of you bringing up her complexion. Like, she's only a few shades darker than you. Like, I've had enough. Connor and Brie, I can see the cracks showing up. Chris and Jessica, you're boring. Ashley and Alex, I already told y'all. I told Ashley he is good for Mexico. After Mexico, he is not it. Girl, go find you something else. He is not. He's a good time. not a long time. Again, what are your thoughts on this episode? Let me know down below. Like and subscribe if you have not. Shared the wealth. What are you doing? And I will see y'all in episode 6. That's it for today's tea on Pam Unfiltered. If you love the drama, the gossip, and the real talk, hit that button, like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I'll see you in the next one.